I was really smart back in seminary. I was good at it. I got a lot of A's. I got a few awards. I could tell you how the Apostle Paul had one idea about eschatology, the last things, when he wrote to the Thessalonians, and then changed his mind slightly before he wrote to the Corinthians, that text we heard this morning. I could tell you the difference between Anselm's theory of the atonement and Abelard's idea of why Christ died on the cross. And then I became a father. And I came to realize just how dumb I was. Now, this was back in the long ago days of cloth diapers with diaper pins. I am not proud to tell you this, but one night in the dark, I actually pinned a diaper to my baby's thigh. Boy, did he cry. Another time, I was walking him in one of those old-time fold-up umbrella strollers, and I guess I forgot to strap him in because we came to a curb, and I bumped the curb, and he gently, I want to stress, slid out of the stroller and landed on his well-diapered bottom in the city street. Now, my son Luke is now an adult. He did survive my fatherly ministrations. He is a father himself, and you know what? He thinks these stories are kind of funny. My wife, however, does not. It turns out there is no statute of limitations on my crimes. She will admit to you that she is still a little steamed about those episodes I just described. And I know that right now there are some mothers out there who are thinking to themselves, what kind of idiot does this stuff? But I also know that there are some fathers out there right now who are chuckling to themselves very, very quietly. And now you know the reason that Mother's Day is a much more significant holiday than Father's Day. I really don't think my son is going to be able to find a card for next Sunday's Father's Day celebration which says, "Dad, thanks for pinning that diaper to my leg." I was just so clueless. And here's the biggest thing I was clueless about. The kid did not come with a warning sticker. He should have. There should have been a book of instructions. But as a member of the 8 o'clock coffee hour told me after church, you're a guy. You wouldn't have read the book of instructions anyway. Okay, well then, on his forehead, there should have been a big day-glow orange sticker that said, "Warning! This small item will worm its way into your heart and take over." Because that's what happens. That's how love goes. Something or someone starts out small, worms deeply into your heart, and takes over. That's how love goes. Jesus told a parable about a mustard seed. That's a very, very small seed which becomes a rather large plant. And the mustard plant tends to take over where it's not wanted, tends to get out of control. And it attracts undesirables. Birds come to the farm or the garden where those plants have taken over. And birds are really not wanted by the farmers or the gardeners trying to grow crops. Jesus says that the kingdom, the way, starts small and then can take over. It might seem dangerous or at least troublesome. It attracts people who seem undesirable. You might want it in small, controlled doses. It's really like falling in love. It starts small, a glance, a few words, a smile, but eventually it takes over your heart, your life. It's also like becoming a parent. At first, the child is invisible in the mother's womb, and then it comes out as a small, wiggling creature. A loud noise at one end, no sense of responsibility at the other. Eventually, the child takes over your heart, your life. And that is like the Jesus way. It starts small. A story from the Gospels. A little bit of bread, a little bit of wine. But eventually, it takes over your heart, your life. You can see this pattern over and over again. A little bit of water from baptism eventually soaks in and then floods a life with love and the power and the desire to serve others. A little bit of bread and wine becomes a sign of how we are all fed lavishly by invisible hands. A little story by Jesus becomes part of the big story of our lives. Now, my little boy Luke is now 6 feet tall. In my heart, he's even taller. He's a giant to me. He started really small. He wormed his way into my heart, and he took over. It starts small, and it takes time. That's how love goes. That's how God's kingdom goes. That's how the way of Jesus goes. Starts small, takes time. Back in seminary, I was just so smart. Now, I realize I was just an apprentice. I had so much to learn. And now I realize I'm still just an apprentice, and I still have so much to learn. The biggest thing I've learned is this. It's not about being smart. It's all about love. Amen.